Coming up on the Angus Report, why attention to marbling still matters in today's high-quality beef supply.
Trade talks continue with China to open its doors to U.S. beef.
Improving cow efficiency and longevity.
The often debated GIPSA rules are delayed until the fall, and we're joined in the studio by Kent Anderson and Dan Mosier to talk trends in genomic technology.
This is the Angus Report. Hello and welcome to the Angus Report. I'm Bob Cervera.
And I'm Crystal Albers.
Our top news this week. The beef industry today is producing record high levels of choice and prime product, marking the best quality ever seen for the nation's beef supply. However, a recent study by the Certified Angus Beef brand shows that even during times of record high grading, many Angus cattle continue to miss the mark for the CAB brand because of one factor: marbling. For many cattle across the U.S., it's a difference in a marbling score of 492 versus 500. CAB Director of Supply Development Justin Sexton explains.
As we look through the carcass data, the one thing that stands out is there's a tremendous amount of those cattle that are very close to making the brand, but of the cattle that did not qualify, 92% of those cattle were inadequate in marbling. Grade has continued to improve. Choice and prime percentages continue to get higher and higher. The reality of it is the bulk of the cattle still set below modest zero marbling score, and so there are a tremendous amount of those cattle that are oh so close to making the brand's marbling specification, just outside of that score that's required to get the $40 per head premium for certified Angus beef.
Visit cabpartners.com to learn more from the Certified Angus Beef brand.
Since the fall of last year, China and the United States have been moving forward with steps to open Chinese imports for U.S. beef. Although an official agreement is still in the works, the Trump administration has affirmed these discussions as a priority. According to a recent report by Daryl Peel of Oklahoma State University Extension, China has ranked among the top beef-producing and consuming countries for the past 2 decades. And as the country's middle class continues to grow, it's looking to trade partners to fulfill beef demands. In 2016, China advanced to the 3rd largest beef-consuming country, and is projected to be the 2nd largest in 2017. Peel reports that per capita beef consumption of beef in China is relatively low, but has increased by about 20% in the last 6 years to a projected 12.7 pounds in 2017. If China and the U.S. arrive at a trade agreement in the near future, Peel says beef producers could see U.S. exports increase by 1 to 3%, in addition to the currently projected 6 to 7% year-over-year increase.
Industry figures suggest that the cow-calf segment of the beef business accounts for 70% of the energy needed to produce 1 pound of beef, and improving production efficiencies starts with the mother cow. David Lallman with Oklahoma State University says that with the right balance of traits, producers can improve cow efficiency and longevity alongside carcass quality.
You know, what we need to do is shift our focus more towards reducing costs on the cow side. And that means things like moderation in terms of milk production. It means moderation in terms of mature cow weight, moderation in terms of maintenance energy requirements. One really good tool to help determine where you ought to be in terms of bull selection for genetic potential for milk is the Angus Association's Optimal Milk Module. And it's a wonderful, user-friendly tool that I'd encourage producers to take advantage of.
The Grain Inspection Packers and Stockyards Administration recently announced that the controversial GIPSA rules regarding the scope of the Packers and Stockyards Act will be delayed for an additional 6 months to October 2017. The changes were proposed in the waning hours of the Obama administration and have been met with mixed reviews from the cattle industry. According to the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, the proposed rules would open the door for frivolous litigation and have a negative impact on the cattle business. NCBA also says current systems allow producers to market their cattle as they see fit and reward producers who aim toward higher quality goals. The proposed GIPSA language would be a threat to that current system, the organization says. Other industry groups, including RCAF and the National Farmers Union, believe the rules are needed changes to guard against anti-competitive and abuse practices. Visit gipsa.usda.gov to learn more.
We go now to Jenna McCrell for a look at what you need to know this week in the Angus business.
While genetics keep improving, no national carcass challenge has tracked that since 2012 until now. In the Angus Value Discovery Contest, bull stud companies and registered Angus breeders nominate their customers, enrolling groups of at least 30 Angus sired calves. Besides valuable information, nearly $5,000 in prizes are at stake. It's co-sponsored by the Certified Angus Beef brand, with genetic suppliers contributing 25% of prize values and credit if their nominations win. The contest looks to build relationships along with better herds. Visit cabpartners.com for more information. The American Angus Association recently recognized a very special employee at its St. Joseph, Missouri headquarters. Software engineer Marg Driesman celebrated 50 years on the Angus team this April. She was just 21 years old when she began her career as a computer programmer in 1967. The machines, technologies, and computer languages have experienced much change in 5 decades. And Marg would tell you that's exactly what she loves about her job. After a pause for celebration on her 50th anniversary, she's back at work, helping to provide the industry's most reliable data to Angus breeders. And that's what you need to know this week in the Angus business.
When we return, an animal scientist shares how to determine when fed cattle are finished.
Then we're joined by Kent Anderson of Zoetis and Dan Mosier with Angus Genetics Incorporated to talk trends in genomic prediction and marketing your cattle.
Visit angus.media to continue watching this episode of the Angus Report.
This isn't a 9-to-5 job. So when you check the pens one last time, put away the tools, and make sure everything's ready to hand off to the night crew. It's not the clock that tells you the day is over. It's the confidence of knowing you got it right. It's having one less thing to worry about when the sun goes down. So when you see the signs of BRD, choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health. Talk to your veterinarian about Zuprevo for BRD treatment.
Did you know that your checkoff works to grow demand for U.S. beef in more than 80 countries? Did you know export markets add more than $250 in value to each head? Did you know your checkoff works to develop, defend, and dispel in an effort to expand international markets? While you're focused on managing your beef business, your checkoff is developing new foreign markets and defending those where U.S. beef is currently sold. Get to know your checkoff at mybeefcheckoff.com.
Hi, I'm Red Stegall. I'd like to invite you to the 2017 Angus Convention, November 4th through the 6th, right here in historic Fort Worth. It's also open to all cattle producers, whether you own Angus cattle or not. Now you'll enjoy 4 days of Texas hospitality, a ranch tour, an industry-leading trade show, and some of the best educational opportunities in the business. But best of all, you'll get to be with your Angus family, celebrating the successes of the breed and charting a course for the future.
Today's beef consumer has questions. BQA has the answers. Your beef quality assurance certification allows you to share a story that assures customers that you are responsibly raising a safe, wholesome, and healthy beef supply. Becoming BQA certified just became even more convenient with a new interactive training experience that is online and available 24/7. So what are you waiting for? Get started today by visiting bqa.org.